Yeah, that's your name.
Squirrels got me.
Big Jim.
Yeah.
Really, 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 really cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
That's good that you think that of it, because that's what deer hunting typically is cold and fun.
Yesterday morning, I'm glassing up on the pass, and I see these deer moving, and I'm like, ooh, there's deer moving. All of a sudden, I just see this person just head down, just hauling ass, wearing shorts and a t-shirt with a pack on. And I'm like, is that Tard? My dad always talks about floating through the woods like the autumn breeze.
So Robert's
when you're
the
275 pounds, I don't know how you do that, but
the Freightliner. It's just like a creeper. You're just kind of up in the corner watching what's going on down there.
Yeah.
You know.
He's like,
he's up there slapping it, pissing all over everything.
Is it warm yet?
How did you know the name of the actor?
That's I know.
Why did you say his name?
Hervé Villagers.
You know what pert near means.
If you know what pert near means and you live in America, you're a redneck too.
Welcome to the Log Talk Podcast, brought to you by Pert Near Outdoors.
I'm the map, if there's a place you gotta get, I can get you there, I bet. I'm the map. I'm the map, 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 I'm the
It is over. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
Yeah? Welcome to the podcast. This is this week's episode of the Pert Near Outdoors podcast, right? Yeah? Kate, how are you feeling? You tired? Are you shy? I think she's being shy, right, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we have coming up on the episode this week? Do you know what the show's about?
Hunting.
It is about hunting. Do you know who's on the show? Well, you're on the intro. This is the introduction to the podcast. And it's Saturday morning, right?
Yeah. I'm tired.
You're tired, Kate? Yeah. You want to take your headset off? Okay, you can take. No, you can leave yours on, Bill.
No, I'm just.
Kate's going to take a break. She just wants to think about kind of what, how the day's going and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. So on today's show, Bill, we've got Funny Grandpa, and Big Al, which is my Uncle Al. He's like your great Uncle Al. He's like the guy who's really, really tall. And him and Funny Grandpa got together in this barn, and they caught up for a little podcast. So Big Al's never been on the show before. So they're going to talk about deer hunting and turkey hunting and like how far back their friendship goes.
Yeah.
Right? So it'll be like a really interesting conversation that I think people will like quite a bit.
You can touch that, but don't open it.
Yeah, don't open that, Kate.
Because you don't know how to shoot my guns.
Right. Oh, not in the microphone, Bill. Come on, dude. What is your Whoa, there's the... I think you might have a future in broadcasting, bud. Oh, you going to cough again? If you're going to do it, you got to... Yep. Oh, that's good. You think that's COVID? No, you don't think it's COVID? That's good.
Some people just have to cough right there.
Yeah, coughing happens sometimes. Kate wants to watch TV.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of cutting in an intro here, right? Getting the show going. I'm having a little cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I was out of town for 3 days for work. Did you guys miss me?
Nah.
No?
Yeah.
You did? Okay, that's a good answer. I thought you said no, and my feelings were going to be really hurt,
I missed you really bad. I wanted to do every single day you were gone.
You did. That makes me happy. And then when you guys woke up this morning, you guys were great. You slept in, so I got to sit down and watch deer hunting shows.
Yeah.
And drink coffee, which never happens. It was great.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sleeping in. And I think we started the weekend off on the right foot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have? Yeah. I mean, how was your week? I mean, I wasn't here.
Daddy.
Yeah.
In 5 weeks, you can see my graduating picture.
In 5 weeks?
I mean, in 5 days.
5 days. So when are you graduating from, you're in preschool, right?
Yeah.
You're in preschool.
Yeah, I graduated from preschool yesterday.
You graduated yesterday? I didn't know that. You didn't invite, Mom didn't tell me, how was I supposed? So you graduated yesterday. You got pictures taken? Like at your graduation class, they took pictures of you guys?
Daddy, I have good smiles. You gotta see my smiles.
Good smiles? You need 7? I don't know what that means. So you graduated yesterday, which that's a big deal, right? So, Cater, Billy and I are trying to cut an intro in here. So, Bill, let's real quick. Congrats. First off, Spider-Man dinosaurs. All right, I'll get that tuned in here in just a minute. Billy, why don't you just enjoy Billy and I having this conversation for a minute? Another cough, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, folks. I know this is taking a little bit of time, but Billy, we're trying to get him up to your posture. You seem very into this conversation, Bill, which I appreciate very much. So, I'm proud of you. Congrats on graduation this week.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm home here now to be here with you guys. I had a great trip to Chicago. It's giving you a bellyache listening to us talk. Actually, I get that reaction from a lot of people. When I talk a lot, people are they just look sick and I'm having some sort of an impact on them.
I can just put the TV on. Just put the TV on.
I can just put the TV on. I'll do that. Why don't I pause this for a second?
Okay.
Okay. You want me to pause this, Kate? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back. Kate's got her dinosaur show on, so she's happy. So I just want to real quick address a couple things. So in a couple weeks, we got Shed Fest coming up, right? So we really haven't had a chance to shed hunt yet because it's been just really nasty weather outside.
Yeah.
But we're going to get out in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, you remember that day when we were shed hunting and we just found a dead raccoon? That's what we found.
That dead raccoon.
And we found a couple bones, right?
Yeah, hold on. You want your binky? It's upstairs. You can go get it. You know where it is. It's on the couch.
Now give me the remote. I can plug it.
Okay, here we go.
Kate, here, I'll plug it. Watch.
Okay, but let Kate do that thing. Let's just you and me finish this conversation, okay?
Okay.
So you like shed hunting?
Yeah.
I think everybody.
That Iron Man came out.
Ooh, I think everybody likes. I know. Can Billy and I just focus on this?
No, Kate, you can tell me because. Okay. I know, Kate. I saw.
All right.
That Venom.
It is Venom. All right, so shed hunting, Shed Fest is coming up April 23rd. People can come to the event at Windy Brew, bring their sheds, get them scored, have a chance to win some great prizes.
Yeah.
And Shed Fest is still open for people to sign up if they haven't already.
Yeah, I hope we get a prize.
We might if we get out in there and do some shed hunting. But the shirts are in. So today, Bill, me and you and Mom and Kate, we're going to swim lessons.
Daddy, guess what? Spider-Man, that dinosaur, he always takes all the other dinosaurs right down.
He just takes them out.
Yeah, he just takes them right down.
Wow. Spider-Man. Oh, just like that.
Yeah, but he's going to take them down in like a couple of minutes.
Okay. So after we get done with swimming, me and you, we got to go down to Arcade.
Yeah.
And pick up the Shed Fest t-shirts because they're done. And then we're going to go get the plow that I bought off Facebook Marketplace for the tractor, right?
Look it. He's here.
Oh, he got him by the neck. Oh, that's not good.
He gets some oil on the neck.
Okay. So we're going to go get the plow for the back of the tractor for deer farming, right? You're going to hang out with Mom, Kate. You got your swimming class after Billy. And then Billy and I are going to get lunch. And then
where?
Wherever you want.
go for a fire call.
A fire call?
No, fire hall.
Oh, a fire hall?
Yeah.
You want to go to a fire hall for lunch?
No.
No?
I don't
Okay.
like that one.
We'll figure that out. So I think that's about all I have for the intro here. I think we covered a lot of different things. You'll be super hungry. Well, we'll eat some food before we go to swimming class, okay? Okay. Yep. Yeah, I got you. We'll take care of you. We'll make sure you're ready for your performance at swim class, okay? But that's about it, folks. So thank you for tuning in for this week's show. Big Willie is helping me out big time. Grandpa, funny grandpa, is doing a great job helping me out, recording some podcasts because I just don't have the time right now. And I want to keep...
Daddy?
Yeah.
I want to do another podcast after this one.
After this one? Well, perfect. So I'm done with the intro. I hope people enjoy the episode.
Yeah.
Make sure to tell your friends about it. Last thing, we have a presentation coming up April 6th in Wellsville with the one and only Steve Shirk of Shirk's Guide Service. Uncle Dallas and I are doing a presentation. Billy, cover. All right, thanks for listening, folks. Appreciate you. You got anything to say in closing, Bill?
Daddy,
Yeah.
why do you have to work on your period so much every day?
That's a great question. I don't have a good answer for that. I probably shouldn't work on my computer so much, should I?
Yeah, because when we say, I want to play with me, and then you won't play with us because you have to work so much.
So I should stop working so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pound it, buddy. Thanks for keeping me down to where I need to be. I need to stay focused on you and Kate and your mother. Yep. All right. Thanks for listening, folks. Appreciate you. Keep feeding them.
Dad,
Hey everybody, Big Willie with you. Today's episode, I have my brother-in-law, Big Al, which has never been on the show, and Al's not real tech savvy, so he hasn't even heard the podcast before, but he agreed to have a chat with me. So before we head down that path, wanted to take a minute to thank our friends down at the Hunt Works, 109 Dispatch Drive in East Rochester. Hard-working sumbitches. They're always at it, and I was down there to see them last week. Things are going well. They got some 2022 bows left over. They're willing to deal on. Anybody needs a new bow, get over and see those boys. They also got the 2023s coming in, and word on the street is they may even teach me how to set up a new bow. So you could get a bow that's been set up by yours truly for if you buy a 23 model. So at any rate, the time to shop for stands, get your bow so you got time to tune it and shoot it is now, not in August. So stop over, see those guys, and their inventory continues to expand, as does their product offering. So see our friends over to Huntworks. And so today, this episode, Adventures with Big Al, and we call him Big Al for a reason. I'll let him tell you. But Big Willie is an understatement compared to Big Al. So but we're down in his barn, and I called him the other day, and he was going to smoke some stuff today, and I've never smoked, so I wanted to learn how to do it. And both he and I are recently retired, so isn't it weird that we sit here together on a Friday afternoon? But I'm going to turn it over to Big Al here and have Al introduce himself, tell a little bit about himself. So Al is my brother-in-law. And we were just talking, we've been, Paul and I have been married 40 years, and Al's been married a little longer than that, but he's been with Martha, Paula's sister, much longer. And we have never hunted together until this year, late season muzzleloader, we went together on a state land hunt. So, being where we're at in life, retired, maybe we'll do a little more hunting. We're talking about doing a little bullhead fishing. So, Al Mack, who's known all around these parts for just being a general good guy. And Al, you know, it's a godsend to guys our age, or our size, our kind-hearted, friendly fellas. I'm 6'4", and Al, how tall are you?
6'9".
6'9". So Al was also a basketball player, and as was his brothers through high school. So Al, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and thanks for coming on and joining me on the podcast today.
Okay, like I say, I'm known as Big Al around town, and I actually started hunting at an early age. I was in the woods with my father, my brothers, and we would pheasant hunt back in the day. We always had German short hairs. When the pheasants left, we ended up getting beagles. We hunted the bunnies, and constantly hunting turkeys in the spring, sometimes the fall. And
Now, I didn't know that, Al. So you guys had hunting dogs? You had the
always had hunting
Your dad
dogs.
had?
Yes.
Yeah, no
Yep.
kidding. Okay.
All grown up, and we did a lot of hunting. We used to. Well, I shouldn't say this, but we had opening day off, pheasant season every year. He'd take us out of school, and
it was a big day. When I was growing up,
absolutely.
I remember the opening day of pheasant. We'd go out to get on the bus in front of our house. We lived on a farm in the south part of Lima.
Yep.
And the road would be lined with cars. There were guys from the city that would come out to hunt pheasants. It was huge.
Yep.
Bigger than deer season, I think.
Oh yeah, no, I had a lot of fun hunting pheasants back in the day, and we actually had my son bought a Brittany Spaniel probably 10, 11 years ago, and probably 3 years into his life, we went and did a pheasant hunt out in Bloomfield with my father and both my brothers, my son and nephew, and we let birds out, and that dog smelled every bird, was on point, and retrieved every one of them.
Awesome.
Yep, we never
I
lost
didn't know
a
your
bird.
dad went on that hunt. I remember when David
Yeah,
took.
I think it was for his birthday. We got for him, and we cleaned them all right there and everything. But a lot of fun, and that brought back a lot of memories. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
But
yeah, from our childhood. I bet
oh
it did for your
boy,
dad, too.
I think. Well, I know I used the same gun I used when I was 14 years old
Did
that
you
day.
really?
Absolutely, just for a little nostalgia. But yep, a lot of fun, and we got every bird that we put out, so we did all right.
Yeah.
But other than that, we've always hunted deer, and that's a big part of our growing up. And my grandfather, my uncle, and father, and then
Yeah, I
both
forgot
my
about
brothers.
Uncle Dick was there. He was your
Uncle
only
Dick.
uncle on the Max, right?
Correct. Yep.
And yeah, he was a big hunter as well. right?
Big deer hunter, and go. There was some days back in the day when we used to drive all the woods. We wouldn't even stop for lunch. He wouldn't allow it. So
Really pushed right on.
push right through, dark to dark.
He was something.
Yep. Go,
And he,
go.
You know, he passed away. We don't want to get into a dark subject, but he passed away doing something he deeply loved.
Yep. He was
And,
actually.
that's a story for another day. But God bless him. We're right where we're sitting right
Yeah.
now. At the time, I don't think the house was here. was it?
No.
So there was no house here, but this was part of the farm that our father-in-law, Jack Gaffney,
Yep.
and down back, right behind us here, Uncle Dick Mack shot. What was that?
14 point.
14 point, but it was huge.
Yep. He had it mounted, and
That morning he shot that, and
the afternoon he had passed,
he passed away
doing another
pushing
drive.
up by Wildwood that afternoon. So, and I remember, I'll never forget, you know, when I heard that your uncle died coming up. You guys were at the farm up at Grand Max.
Correct.
We came up there to see the deer, and everybody was around. But that was, yeah. Again, that's a story for another day. It's kind of a sad
Sure.
one, but
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
he was a great guy, and as was your dad. And the hunting, it's interesting because I said earlier that we've never hunted together. And as much as we both like hunting and we get together, we'd be at family gatherings. We're always like sharing pictures and telling hunting stories, but we never hunted together. And I don't even know that I've ever had you up to camp. I mean, you went up there before I owned it when Bob Madigan owned it.
Yeah, we helped build it.
Yeah, so did
Back
we.
when we were kids.
We may have been up there at the same
Oh, I
time.
believe we were. Yeah.
Because I remember Bob would have us up there with little pruning saws, clearing
Yep.
the brush and helping
Oh, wow.
to build that cabin. He built it over a period of a couple of years, and
Yep.
so yeah, that's funny. I didn't realize that. You know, you think back, we had to be 10,
8, 10 years old.
10 years
Yep.
old. But I remember being up there, and I don't
Oh, yeah.
remember everybody that was there. There was another guy. I want to say it was Jimmy McNeil. McNeil's Bob.
Very
was friends with them.
possible.
They
Yep.
Rush family, and they
Yes.
would be down there, but.
Yep.
Yeah, so you gotta, you'll have to come back up now that we're both retired.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
How is retirement? I retired in June, and I thought I was gonna be like the second one out. Our brother-in-law John retired a couple of years ago, prior to COVID, from Rush Henrietta, and then Paul and I were retiring end of June, and out of nowhere, Al gets an offer for an early buyout, and you retired before I did.
Yep, May 3rd was my last day,
Yeah.
and haven't looked back.
Yeah.
Enjoyed
so
it.
you, career, how long were you with the phone company?
33 years, and I had worked at CP Ward and CC&E prior, so I got 40 years on this old body of work, and it was time.
And utility work
outside every day, and enough's enough.
Yeah, I know you worked. I kind of coincidentally, but you were partnered up with my brother Mike when you were
Correct.
at CC&E, which was a company out of Groveland, did underground utilities, and you guys used to work together every day.
Yep, right on the truck together, and did a lot of work, put a lot of work out, made them a lot of money. So no, always good to have people you know when you're working. It makes it so much more fun, and you don't even know you're working.
Yep.
So.
Mike cherishes those. He always talks about how much fun he had working with you. That,
Yep.
Although he said you'd never let him drive, you always had to drive.
I drove.
Yeah, that's what he said. He goes, Big Al drove. I didn't have a choice. It was I couldn't get behind the wheel. But
Yep.
So retirement's been good.
Very good. A lot of golf last year. I think I had close to 70 rounds in, and
Did you?
Yep, I actually got a little better, and plan on getting better this year.
Good for you. So you enjoy the golf, and you did. I know you and I did that one deer hunt together. We should have done more.
Mm-hmm.
But and then you had a piece of property that you've been hunting the last few years. We were admiring around your garage here. A couple of these, it's got some god awful big bucks, and they come off a area over towards river flats between here and Scottsville. And you lost the privilege to hunt there. I don't know. Was it last year? Was this the first
Just
season?
this past year, yeah.
So it was, you had to kind of move to a different area, but you've always hunted over at Moss's and
Yeah, a lot of different places in Rush. We had a homestead my grandmother owned, and we did a lot of hunting around there, and a lot of just private land around town, which now
drives
is all
and pushing and
now is all posted up and no availability. So we have to keep adapting.
That's right.
So.
And now you got a box blind. You got your first box blind a few years back.
Yes, I did, and it takes a lot of the cold and a lot of
You
the.
get to be area just kind of nice, ain't it?
Very nice. So, yep. No, I enjoy hunting out of that, and.
Yeah, as you and I had talked about, I got a couple of those too from the Huntworths there. I got a couple, prefab or whatever, not prefab, but it's, they're like roto molded, sealed,
Right.
they're Banks blinds, and everybody in our camp that's tried them just loves them.
Mm-hmm.
And I hunted probably the majority of my archery season over to one food plot in a blind, and I really, even in nice weather, I enjoyed it. It was great.
Yep. No, it takes a lot of the movement and stillness out
More
of the hunt.
forgiving,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I'm going to hit pause for 1 second here while we check on the barbecue, so hold on 1 second. Alrighty, we're back with you, and just checking on some things, and Al wanted to grab a, what's that called, Al?
Spiced pickle.
Spiced pickle
Whiskey.
It's interesting. I
That's
just had a sip, so Al's going to see if he can down a glass of that while I work on my Jenny Light. So, but yeah, we were just talking about blinds and hunting in the blinds and the ground blinds that we got. Is yours elevated, Al?
It's only about a 3 foot
Yeah.
rise, but it's just enough to get you up over the top sometimes.
Yeah, I got one that's like 5 foot, a little one that we use for gun. It's called a Stump 2. And I say for gun because it's not really big enough in circumference for archery.
Right.
And then I have the Stump 4, and that's only 18 inches off the ground, maybe.
Yeah.
I would like to elevate it more. I got pinned down a couple times this year where deer would like walk right up and they're staring right in the window at me. So I could see the advantage to, even if it's only 8 feet, having it up a little. But I'll play with that this year and reposition that a little. We did a dry run here before we started recording, so we talked about a bunch of stuff. We don't want to forget. We should go back and hit on. So what we're up to today. So we got the smoker here in the background. out on the awning of your pole barn, and the smoker's chugging away with some, what'd you say it was, hickory or cherry?
Cherry chips. Yep.
So what we got in the smoker today? What do we got going there?
Got a little pork belly that I put some dry rub on, and we'll smoke it for 3.5 hours. And I'm going to take it to a buddy of mine tomorrow. We got a little surprise birthday, so a little hors d'oeuvre that I enjoy bringing a little something, and this is my go-to.
It's a good go-to. I got to learn how to make it. And I got to watch it when you, what do you call it, scoring the meat? Or
Yep, checkerboard the meat.
Checkerboard the meat with your butcher knife. Yeah.
Yep, do a little dry rub and
both sides.
Yep.
So tell me, when you put it in, you said, now we're going to put this in and we're going to do it fat side up.
Fat
So
side
why
up.
is that in?
You're going to render that fat down into the meat, and it's going to keep
There you
it
go. Makes
juicy.
sense. Instead of dripping off the bottom,
Correct.
it's going to drip into the meat.
Correct. Yep. So keeps it nice and moist, and like I say, 3.5 hours. I'll run a thermometer through it, and it should be good.
What do you cook that to? Like what are you looking for when you put the thermometer in there?
I think I'm looking at 150, 160.
Okay. Yeah. Like you would if you were cooking pork loin on the
Right.
grill or something.
Correct.
Speaking of the grill, we just had our lunch, if you will, stuff was pretty damn good. You picked that up from your buddy Charlie over at Mendon Meadows today.
Yep. We had a little shrimp on the grill. I put a little Old Bay seasoning on it, dusted them, and some nice fresh shrimp, and just picked them off the grill as we stood around.
They were delicious too.
Yep.
Put that with a fine beverage such as a Genesee Light, and it just don't get
Gotta
any
keep-
better on a Friday at noon when everybody else is working, right, Al?
Got to keep the locals going.
So the only thing we haven't done yet today is me take your e-bike for a ride. Al's got is that what it's called?
Yes, it is.
It's an e-bike, so he's got a bicycle with the seat up as high as it'll go, right?
Absolutely.
He's 6'9", so they have a little leg room, but he's got a beautiful e-bike. Did you buy that from what's our friend? That's
Joe Cicero.
Cicero. I was
Yep.
thinking it was Cisco. That's
Yep.
Joe's old bike.
That's
right?
his. He couldn't get it to run the hill for him, so he had to get something geared a little lower. So he asked me if I wanted it, and I gave him what he needed, and he took that rest and put it toward the other, which is almost double what I paid for this. And this thing here,
Now, Cicero, he hunts. He backs up to a nice piece of state ground. I've hunted it. Not Cicero's, but I've hunted the state ground. And there's like a logging road, I guess you would say, that for years has run the whole length of that ridge. And I think he covers that ridge on an e-bike so that he can get there quicker. And he's got, I'll tell you, he does well.
that and foot. He ain't
ho-
afraid to
hoofs it
hike.
a lot,
Yeah.
and, but that e-bike was, I think he,
Gets him up the hill.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
and-
it's a long hill.
yes.
So, so you got your e-bike, and I don't know, after drinking Jenny Lights all afternoon, I don't know whether I'll take her
That
for a
thing
spin or not.
that'll take you 20 mile an hour down the road.
But we were taking the plow off our father-in-law's old truck. He has got a 1998 Chevrolet 3/4 ton. It's got, you said it just turned over, what's it?
2000.
Oh, it's a 2000, yes, not a 98. I'm sorry. Mine was a 98. His is a 2000. And it's got like 60,000
Just
miles.
turned 60. Yep.
So, the truck's 23 years old, and it is beautiful. But anyways, Al when Dad passed, Al had that truck for plowing up here on the hill where the family homestead was. So we just took the plow off and got that stashed away, and we were noticing that after 23 years, the plow blade is getting rotted a little bit. So
Getting tired.
she's getting tired.
Yep.
So we got the plow off, and then got the meat going. Well, I had the meat going, took the plow off, had some shrimp, and now we thought we'd podcast a little bit and capture our conversation. So the turkeys. Let's talk about turkey. You haven't have you hunted them last few years?
Yes, I've actually hunted them.
Your whole
Since I was 14, I shot my first one in the fall when I was 14 years old.
In the fall?
Yes,
Did you?
it was a young hen, but I was more than happy. So that's what started things, and I kind of got hooked that way. So we went into the spring, and back in the day, they were very plentiful. unlike they are now. Just reading in my New York State Sportsman magazine, I can't remember the exact numbers, but there were quite a few thousand off from they were
The harvest.
15. For the harvest report from 15 years ago and now.
20 years ago.
Yeah,
You know, we
when
didn't
they were
realize
plentiful.
You
Yeah,
know, you hear people talking about whitetails, and these are the good old days. Well,
yeah.
those were the good old days with turkeys, right?
Right.
In
Oh,
the
you could.
80s, 90s.
They come in on a string for you.
Oh, and you pick which one you wanted to go after.
Absolutely.
We'd step out of the cabin. We always hunted at the camp up in Naples. You step out of the cabin, or even the night before, you just sit there, and you could roost birds right from the picnic table.
Sure.
Have a beer, sit at the picnic table, and they'd be gobbling. You pick which one you're going to go after.
Yep.
It ain't like that anymore.
No, I hunted them across the street here from my house, and I actually won a contest one year. I had a turkey to come in on Mother's Day. I hunted that morning before we had any of our parties and that we had to go to. So I was out across the street, and I called one in, come in on a string for me. And
Right across the street here?
yes, yep. And I ended up winning a contest. The beard was 14 inches long.
You gotta be
Yep,
kidding.
there was about 9 strands of beard.
Where is he? That ain't the one hanging up there, is it?
No,
No?
there was 9 inch. What did I say?
The beard?
The beard was 14 inches long, and there was about 9 strands of feather, or the beard,
Yeah.
that hung down, other than the big paintbrush that it had.
Oh,
and
really? Almost like a double beard, you mean?
yeah, or it just they never fell out. I don't know if they got caught in something and
Oh,
a
gotcha.
few strands, but they had the 9-10 strands, and that was enough to win the tournament.
No kidding.
So
Big spurs.
they were inch and a half anyway. I'll bet they come to
That's
a point.
big.
Yeah, they
I
come to
don't know
a
if I've ever killed a bird.
yeah.
like
They
this.
come to a point and they were rounded, so
Yeah.
they were limb hangers.
Yeah, nice.
So-
Yeah, I don't think I've ever got one bigger than like 1.25 inches. And I haven't shot a ton of birds, but I'll tell you the most interesting, probably one of the biggest birds I ever shot. I was up, my brother was at war. He was over in Afghanistan. And I took my nephew, his boy was just old enough to turkey hunt. So I took him with me. He was, I don't know, would have been 12 or 13, David. And I took him and my buddy Joel, and we went way back in the valley. Joel said he had roosted some birds back there. So we're a couple miles back from camp in this valley. And get back there at first light set up, and the birds are gobbling up on top of the hill across the creek from us. So that bird, they come down the hill part way. They were coming, and we got all excited because the gobblers, when they hit the ground, they were coming. But all of a sudden they hung up, and I remember telling Joel, I said, I know right where they are. I go, there's an old logging road that cuts across the side of that hill. It's all overgrown and everything, but I said, I know where he is. He's strutting up there on that logging road. And he says, what are you going to do? And I said, I think I should think about going and getting him. He says, well, go get him. So I'm like, David says, can I go with you? I'm like, yeah, come on. So I figured we'd go get close and be on the road and call him down the road. Mm-hmm. So long story short, we had west up the valleys because I didn't want him to see us. There was no leaves on. It was opening day, right? So I go west, cross the creek, come back east. So now I'm right at the base of this steep hill. And I get below where I believe this bird is, roughly. I didn't want to be right below him, but I was in the area, and I start up the hill, and I'm like, we're going to be very quiet. We sneak up through the woods. It's very steep, and there's a logging road. And as I'm approaching this logging road, I'm not hearing nothing. No gobbling, nothing. I don't know if he left or what, right? I come up over the logging road, and there is a log that had to be 3-4 feet around down across this logging road. And when I pop up, David pops up right behind me. And I look right on the other side of this log, and the log's like 10 yards from me, right on the other side of this log, I see this fan, this turkey fan. And he's in full strut, facing uphill, facing up that logging road, looking the other way. And I hold my hand out for David to just don't move. The bird never heard us. Or if he heard us, he thought the hen's coming in or something. I picked my gun up, and you know how they'll rotate when they're
Right.
or when they're in full strut. They kind of got their wings
Yeah.
cocked in the leaves, and they're kind of spinning.
Sure.
He rotated around, and when he got, so he was facing me, his eyes got like that big around. I let him have it. I shot him. I wasn't 20 yards from that bird when I popped, and I killed that bird. He was huge.
Wow.
And that was probably one of the biggest birds I ever got. But
No
I walked
kidding.
right up there and shot him in his strut zone.
Unheard of.
That don't happen every
No.
day. I just got lucky. With my nephew with me. So
Yeah.
that was meant to be. But anyways, I didn't mean
Yep.
to like get down to, but it's getting to be that time of year, right?
Absolutely. Won't be long. Month
Yeah.
away. Month and a week. So.
So we'll be, you and I maybe, we'll be doing some shed hunting
Sure.
hopefully in the next week or two.
Yep.
See if we can come up with some sheds, and that's, will be our
Preseason scout.
preseason gobbler scouting, as well
Well.
as maybe some, looking for some, some deer scouting, but, I've been out a few times shed hunting this year, and I made a note of where I saw deer bedding back in late December, mid-December, and I went back to those areas, and there's track, but I'm not finding anything. And
Yeah.
I told Billy, I go, I never find deer sheds unless I sit on them when I'm turkey hunting, But I'm hoping this year maybe, like if you and I got plans on a couple spots
Right.
to go, and maybe we'll spread out with the two of us, we can find something,
It will be very good.
Yeah,
Yep.
and maybe locate some birds.
Right.
Got some state land we're gonna check
More
out.
importantly.
Yeah. So if I find a shed, I usually stumble across them,
Right.
I've found more actually in the summer, and when I'm working in the food plots or out in the fields, you'd see them there. So, but we'll give it a try, and we'll check out. There's some state land up near our camp that I've been looking at the topo map, and there's some benches up there on this state land, like a third of the way down the hill. I see some benches when I study that topography, so I want to get in there and check some of those spots and see, because I think they'd be good bedding locations
Right.
for bucks.
Mm-hmm.
They like to bed towards the top of the ridges, and they get sunshine during the winter, and I don't know. So we'll get out and cover some ground, get some boots on the ground, hike around, see what we find. Maybe we find some turkeys that we can chase, right? And you got that place over in Caledonia. We're gonna walk that. I don't know. Is that Caledonia, or where is it?
Caledonia, yeah. Top between 5 and 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, over there. So
That's a beautiful piece. It's a working horse farm, isn't it?
yes, yeah, I think they still have 11 or 12 horses over there. And, yeah. That's I can't remember the name of the old place that it was, but quite the show back in the day, I'm
Well,
sure.
it'd be nice to get over there and walk that a little bit.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing this winter? You been squirrel hunting or what?
We're doing a lot of coyote hunting.
Coyote.
Yeah. Friends are my brothers and a couple of our friends. We
Do
go
both
out.
Darren and Chico do that with
Oh,
your
yeah.
brothers?
Yep. And we got dogs, not myself, a friend of ours, Mike Quinlan, and got dogs, and we got the Garmins, we got the radios, and we have a ball.
Well, we'll have to get Mike on, you and Mike, and kind of give us a rundown. I've never done that with dogs. I've called coyotes, gone out and set up and had a caller, and
Yes,
you know,
another
try
whole
calling.
different whole story. Yep, different old way of hunting, but
But the dogs, it seems like that's getting popular,
yeah.
hunting
And
dogs.
I mean, you got to put a lot of time in with these dogs, and
Training them, you mean?
training.
So-
Yep, so they know where they're going.
Well,
I
you
mean,
guys put a lot of time in as well with, running bait sites with cameras on them, so you can see where
Right.
they are, right? And then,
yeah, we locate them, and we have areas that we can hunt, and we get them running. We got to watch the roads. That's what helps with the Garmins. You can see these dogs. They got the collars, and
So you're tracking the dog on the collar.
yes,
Yeah.
we can see where they are at all times.
Well, you
and-
said Mike. You thought Mike would be interested in getting on with us, so we'll try and.
yeah,
If this works out, I mean, this is our maiden voyage here with the podcast. So if this works out,
yeah,
and the
we can get
audio's
Mike.
good and Billy likes it, then we'll get together with Quinlan.
Sure.
And,
And
How
he
do you
could
know
give us a
him?
little
How do you know Mike?
background, just from town, and he hunted with my father, with a cousin of ours, Johnny Bean, and the Roth
He
boys.
was with the Bean and the
Yep.
Roth gang.
Yep. So he was with them, and we've kind of just fell in. My brother Steve, Chico, he started in first with my father, and those guys, and then a couple of years later, I hooked on, and my other brother Darren's hooked on, and we've had a couple others since, and
Nice.
we have a lot of fun. It breaks the winter up a little bit.
Yeah, gives you something to do, get you out.
Right.
You find any sheds while you're coyote chasing?
We found a few sheds over Bloomfield Way, and we're always looking, and there's a lot of deer out there. I'll tell you what, we didn't hurt them this year, boys.
No, and the winter didn't either. Well, hey, let me pause this a second. We'll check our smoking here, make sure everything's going well there. Be right back with you. All right, we're back with you. Sorry about the intermission. Good news is the pork butt is doing outstanding, right, Al? Pork belly. Yeah, that's right. Big difference between the pork butt and the pork belly. So we were just talking about the coyote hunting, and I don't want to go too far down that path because I'd love to have Mike Quinlan join us for that, to learn a little bit about that. I've been kind of watching some of that on YouTube. I've never done it myself, but there's a fella out towards Billy that his name is Nick, and they run them as well, and which got me thinking about doing a podcast with it. And I'm like, well, hell, Al runs them with Mike Quinlan. You know?
Sure.
And then you were saying Darren, does he run with a different guy?
Yeah,
occasionally.
Jeff Drain, we call him Drano, and they're down Geneseo area.
On the flats?
On the flats, yep. They run the flats, and they do quite well also. And they use, I think they use walkers. They have
tree and walkers, yeah.
Yeah, so they use it's a different way of hunting that we even do. And
I mean, you're all using dogs, but they do a little different.
They jump them and they run them, and they're usually shooting them quicker. Where ours will run circles, they'll run straight, they'll run them right into, and they got a lot more guys down there also. So, I mean, we could even get Jeff to come with Mike and kind of compare the two ways of hunting. Yeah, different ways of hunting him with dogs even.
Now,
So
do you think it's different because of the dogs, or
I
because
do.
You think like you're running blue tick?
Yeah.
That's what you said. Quinlan's
Right.
running, and he's running walkers.
Yeah.
This other guy, Drano.
Right.
So you think maybe it's the dogs and the number of guys where you set up a line and that
Correct.
coyote ain't going to get through, you know?
Right. Where ours they'll run more of a circle, where these will run them straight. They'll just chase them till they can't. They run no more. So
Well, you know, the other thing that's interesting is the terrain. I know some of the areas where you hunt. You know,
Yeah.
we talked about over in the Bloomfield area and some around Lima.
Right.
And where else?
Rush
So,
area.
I mean, but it's it's undulating terrain. You know,
Yes.
not huge hills, but they're just gullies and little draws. And,
Right.
You know, I know the river flats. My brother Tim hunts over there, and for deer. So you know, I'm kind of familiar with the lay of
Just
the
one
land
field
there.
to the next. You
And
just
it's
keep
like
going.
flat, one field to the next.
Right.
There's brush pockets, but I think it's reminds me of farming we hunt in Avon. That's in the river flats, and it's a whole different ball game when you get off the terrain and get onto that.
And it might be a combination of the both with the dogs and the terrain, but yeah, it's a different way of hunting though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then
And just Darren does that. And
yeah, he goes down there with him, and he'll go Sundays with him, and we've had Jeff come with us, and Mike goes with Jeff once in a while, so
cool.
the two of them. But I've never been down with Jeff, but
So
maybe someday.
Did Mike used to hunt with Johnny Bean? Was
Yes.
he out there with the Bean gang? Because
Yes.
you know Rick Page used to hunt with them.
And it
too.
still does, yeah.
Does he?
Yep. And yeah.
But he doesn't. Rick's not hunting with you guys.
No, he's with the Roth guys,
Oh, 'cause
Roth
they got
boys.
their own- Johnny Bean had his own dogs. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Tommy's got a dog also.
Tommy
So
Roth.
yeah, and they run together. So yeah. And with all the guys that are running, you would be surprised at how many coyotes are out there still. But
You can't clean them out, and if you thin them
No.
down, they repopulate.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's almost like any other species, right? They'll populate the landscape to the ability the landscape will support them, right?
right.
So,
And you knock the alpha out,
yeah, something else moves in.
everybody
It's
else.
just like turkey.
Now,
right? You
now
see-
they're all vying for the alpha again. Everybody's popping everyone. So
Yeah, so they. But that's interesting. It's a good way to spend your winter, you know. And
right.
We spend our winters with working on habitat management and dropping trees and clearing food plots or, whatever we got going. So we don't hunt so much as we do kind of work on habitat development for the following year. Like we have a game plan for our property and we kind of work on that. But it's nice. I noticed, like, if you think back to years ago, I remember my dad he'd deer hunt. And when deer season was over, that shotgun went in the corner of the closet and it didn't come out again until next season.
Next fall.
They didn't there wasn't, it wasn't like ongoing. We have trail cameras we're monitoring year round. You're hunting coyotes.
Mm-hmm.
We're hunting. Of course, there wasn't turkeys back then.
Right.
When I was a little kid, the turkeys were just being kind of
introduced.
New York.
Correct.
Introduced. And
Yep.
so we started. We went down to. I don't know. You may have been on that trip. Bob Madigan went, I think, and Jim Simpson, and I don't know whether Max went, but we went down to Allegheny State Forest for a turkey hunt. Rented a cabin down in Redfield. You remember that?
I remember something about. I know I've been down there before, but I don't know if I was on that actual hunt. But yeah, it's a lot different.
Oh, God.
You could see the whole change. I mean,
We had no idea. And then as the turkeys moved north from the Pennsylvania border, I can remember hunting down in like Alfred, the other side of Hornell,
Wellsville.
Clipnocky State Forest, and I don't know, it was like Bush Hill down there, but we hunted that, and there was actually birds down there. And then
Hartsville.
we worked up to Arkport, to Ashen, Rattlesnake Hill.
Oh.
And, I always thought that was just the name of the place, Rattlesnake Hill. And we come out of there one day, we were walking out, and this other guy's walking, and he had a sack, he was carrying, and he had a patch on with like a snake on it. I'm like, what are you doing? He says, I'm hunting rattlesnakes. I'm like, there's rattlesnakes in here? He's like, well, it's called Rattlesnake Hill. I go, I thought that was just a name. He's like, no, there's timber rattlers in here. And he would, this is like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, but he would, probably 40 years ago, but he was, getting the venom on them or whatever, milking them.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. After that, I always took a close look where I sat before I sat down on the ground.
Oh, wow. That's where I actually shot my first turkey, was down in Arkport.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Whereabouts down there? Did you
100.
go into Arkport and head west? Probably the same area I was.
Boy, I
Bush
probably
Road.
could very well
'Cause
be.
Bob
but-
Madigan used to take us down there.
And I would imagine it'll probably be in the same area. Yeah. So.
Bob and Jim used to love to hunt this area, and I remember it was a Clipnocky, and that was on one side. But I haven't been back yet, but I've scoped it out on my Onyx, and I want to go back to that area because I remember going there as a kid. So we got turkey coming. I know I'm looking forward to it because I'll be able to turkey hunt more than I did last year. And last year I didn't hunt much, but some of the previous years I just said I'm not turkey hunting at all. I can't deal with it. It was a busy time of the year at work for me, and it just put more stress in my life. So I didn't do it at all. So I'm really looking forward to jumping back into that. But before we get, like normally we would, if this was 20 years ago, we'd be out smelting nowadays, wouldn't we?
Oh yeah.
You smelted, didn't you?
Yep. And we would get quite a few. We would go down the Genesee River.
So you smelted on the river?
On the river, yep. Down below, just before the.
Down by Bull's Head?
Yeah. Actually, yes, it was down that way, just past Hawkeye, the old Kodak building there.
Yeah.
We go down along the river and we get a bunch of them. But
So Mike and I, my brother, we used to go to Naples Creek, and we had a spot down there. I don't think we got the volume that you did.
right.
Like you used to get a lot.
Oh yeah.
And
More than we want to clean. That's for sure.
If we could fill like a 1 gallon milk jug, we were happy, But you guys get 5 gallon buckets.
Yeah. Yep. Oh,
And
we
they
had
were good.
very good.
Very good.
Yep. We
Gone
still eat
now.
them. Yep.
Yeah.
No, we'll get them. We'll go to Palmer's and get them, and we'll
Do you-
cook them up
do
the
they
same
sell
way.
them?
Oh yeah.
Do they?
Yep.
I'll have to try and get some. I
So
wonder where they come from. I wonder if they have them like off Lake Erie or something.
that I couldn't tell you, but
It
yeah,
was
my
fun,
brother
though. That was
always
fun.
get
Dipping,
them.
dipping
Oh yeah.
smelt with. We'd stand in that Naples Creek with lanterns.
Yep.
Till 3 a.m. Smelted come by. We'd scoop them up 3 or 4 at a time. Sometimes
Sure.
1 at a time.
Yep. No, it was a lot of fun for many years for us, and that was the next morning. You were cleaning smelt.
That's right. How'd you cook them?
We would dust them in flour and
Oh, did you?
deep fry them. Yep.
We used to just fry them.
Yeah.
some butter and a little salt and pepper, and like leave
Nothing
the tails
better.
right on.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Do you leave the tails on?
Cut the head and slit the
head-
belly,
cut
and
the head, slit the belly, clean them out, throw
that
them right
was
in the
it.
skillet.
Yep. So.
So that's a good idea. Did you have a little egg batter or something? Or did you just roll
No,
them in
just
the-
dust. Yeah, just the
dust
dust. Yeah, we dust them and put them in.
Jesus, they were good.
Oh. Yep, and do it the same. We still do the same. We do it for holidays. We'll
Yeah.
get them. Yep.
Yeah.
Cook them up.
You and your brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't have smelt to chase, but we might be able to get after some bullheads.
Bullheads around the corner, or
Yeah.
a warm rain away.
So
So,
how do you define a warm rain?
well, once the ice is gone, you got to get 40, 50 degree weather, get a nice downpour, and then get a west wind or a south wind, and
South or a west wind after a 15-degree rain?
and churn up that bottom, and in you go. We'll be up to
Where do you go?
Canisius Lake.
Yeah.
We'll
You
hit
take
the
me
north
along?
end. Oh yeah, yep. And it may be at noon one day. It might be at 9 o'clock at night another day.
How do you determine that?
Just the weather, the wind, and
So if the wind was the shift
yes.
out of the south and the weather was right, you'd be like, okay, it's time.
Right.
And then you go, what do you use for bait?
we'll use. We'll leave it at chicken livers for now.
Okay. You have some other tricks up your
We
sleeve,
do.
don't you?
We do.
We don't need to be publicizing that, but you got some things that work.
Chicken livers.
So
But,
you go to the lake down the Finger
North
Lake?
end, yeah, north end of Canisius. We'll fish them
Like
there.
what's a good bullhead? What size would you get down there?
Oh, anywhere from 10 to 16 inches.
16 inches?
Yeah, they'll get up that far.
So the only place that I've, like in the last 15, 20 years, the only place I've bullhead fished was Mendon Ponds.
Oh.
And there's one of the ponds, I don't know the name of it, but it's a long walk to get in there, but my buddy and Joel and I used to go, and we'd go in the evening, and he liked to go after there was the first thunderstorm,
Okay.
and of the season.
Yep.
But we'd get out there, but they were all maybe 8, 10 inches would be a big one.
I see.
They're not as big out there, but
Right.
they were good.
Mhm.
He would.
Yep. All the smaller ones are definitely better, but
Yeah.
you get what you get, and you put a
You
couple
fillet
hooks
them?
on.
You fillet
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We'll fillet them. Well, sometimes we'll just pull the skin, and they fillet just as easy once they're cooked. So you just peel
Now,
that
that's what I
meat
was
right
wondering
off.
if you
Yeah.
throw- Like, how do you usually cook them, Al?
Yeah, we'll put those on the grill. We'll actually smear them with real mayonnaise, a little salt and pepper, and put them on the grill. And those fillets will peel right off once they're cooked.
Say that again. So you put mayonnaise,
Real mayonnaise,
real mayo.
smear them on it, a little salt and pepper, and put them on the grill. And once they're done,
On foil, or
those
just put them right on the grate?
right on the grate. We can put them in a foil sometimes. Depends on the guy or where we are, but whichever. And we'll pull them off, and you can pull those fillets right off the bone. They'll peel right off.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So they peel right off, and then, or you could have the fillet. If you had the fillet, would you put it on like parchment papers, or what do you call it, that aluminum foil?
Yeah.
So otherwise, it starts flaking.
Right, it'll peel right.
But yeah, I think it'd be fun to try cooking the whole thing.
Yeah, most of the time we leave the tails, and we'll cut their heads, slit them, and skin them, and put them right on. We'll put the mayonnaise right on both sides, and
That sounds good.
yeah, no, nothing better.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
about the before we? I was going to ask you about cooking the turkeys, but before we go there, so when we're coming on to the last week of March, and so when would you expect we'd be hitting the water for bullheads? April or
It could,
be
yeah.
next week?
It could be once the weather turns. You start getting them warm rains. It'll get the winds. They'll be in.
Like we got rain tomorrow, but it's going to be cold, right?
Right.
It's going to be,
Yeah.
35 or 40 or something tomorrow with rain.
Yep.
And then they're talking rain or snow Tuesday, Wednesday. So when it starts, like when we're hanging at 50 and getting a nice rain,
Yeah.
then it's game on.
Catch that wind and work the bottom up, and they'll be out.
Okay.
Yep. We'll be vying for position.
Will we? Now
There'll
you
be a
think,
lot of people there.
Even like being retired now, seeing as you and I can go during the week, will that be to play to our advantage?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
When did you, like when you were working, when would you go? Weekends and evenings?
Evenings, yeah. We'd eat supper and head down after, and we'd stay sometimes. If they don't start hitting till 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock sometimes. But
You know, the worst thing is when it's a work night or whatever, and you head down, and it's slow, and at
Right.
10 o'clock they start hitting.
right,
And you're like, I can't
Can't
go now.
leave.
And then
Can't
the wife's
leave.
calling, going, where the hell are you? Like, they're hitting. Right?
can't leave now.
We'd be out there and we're like, okay, smelting, you know. Mike
Right.
and I'd say the cutoff's midnight, and we got to go home because we had, like, hell,
Sure.
we both had to get up 4:30, 5 o'clock, go to work, right?
Yep.
God, midnight, 11:30, 11:45, they'd start running.
Yep.
Guys would leave, and there'd be just Mike and I, or maybe another, and all of a sudden they'd start running. I'm like, we can't leave now. He's like, no, we can't. We gotta stay.
No.
We'd end up staying till 2 in the morning. You know,
Sure.
2:30. But yeah, it was fun though.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to that. What do you use for? You just use a spin casting reel? Or?
That's all. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll run 2 poles and put them on the shore.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, we used to
Got
fish
the
and bullhead.
live.
We get our little fork stick and sit
That's
in the
right.
ground and watch it. Put a lantern out or something so you
Yep.
could watch
Watch the
rod
tips.
tip.
All you do.
When it starts, they start just tapping it a little, right?
Yep. 2 hooks on each line.
Okay.
I caught
Split
many.
shot below 'em, or a weight, not a split shot.
Yeah. Got a weight. Probably an ounce.
At the bottom.
Yep.
And then come up a little bit and put a couple hooks.
Stagger them. Yep. Probably 8, 10 inches apart and let them go.
You know, if we take some of your homemade hooch with us and this podcast equipment, we could have a hell of a show sitting
Might
on
be
Saturday
another
morning,
show.
right? We could have a nice podcast.
Absolutely.
So what else you got going? We're admiring your barn today, and I had not even noticed all the racks on that side.
Those were the early days. That's when you
got
shot
some-
everything.
You got some bizarre racks. So Al's got a couple. So watch out, Dallas. I'm giving you a heads up that he's coming to Shedfest this year. Him and Jimmy Farrell, and he's got a beautiful, what's that? An 8-point?
Yeah.
A beautiful 8-point, which will be fun to score. But then he's got another one that if you can even tell him how many points it has, he'll be happy and he'll buy you a beer, right? It's the most freaking
You
screwed
tell
up-
me.
Yeah, you tell me. That's the craziest buck I ever seen in my life.
Yep.
So we'll take a couple of those heads out there, right? And it'll be nice. It'll be the first event. I got you a T-shirt coming, so you're officially entered. So we can find some sheds, and I think Jimmy Farrell entered, and
Yep.
some of my brothers entered. And Mike already found a deadhead. He got a deadhead, pretty good size one too. It's a shame it was an archery kill because he found the arrow in the broadhead, and got the head off that deer, and then went back. I think looking for the. I don't know if he went back looking for the broadhead or something, and the deer was gone, and it ended up and was all the way across, and that deer laid right over next to where that big buck called Frank and Beans that we always talked about, where he felt that. So that thing, I don't know, coyotes, I'm assuming, dragged that thing all the way off the hill, down across the valley, across these fields, and over to the far side. But real nice 7-point. I haven't found any sheds yet, so we're still looking. And, but that'll be fun, and it'll be nice to have you out there at the event with us.
Absolutely.
And then possibly the National Deer Association, possibly you and I will be there down in Wellsville. I don't know if that's a Southern Tier chapter, and I should know. I apologize, guys. I don't know the official name of your chapter, but it's the NDA branch that's down in Wellsville. You guys are having the second of 3 seminars, and that is on April 6th from 6 till 10. You can find it on Instagram or Facebook. And at that event, we'll have Steve Shirk out of PA, a guide and mountain whitetail specialist. He'll be there to talk about hunting mountain whitetails. And Billy, my son Billy in Dallas, have been down there and done a in-person scouting mission with him to learn about, how the thermals work in the mountains and where they bed the bucks. So, but Steve's awesome. I follow him on Instagram, so he'll be there. And then the other presenter is Billy and Dallas. But Billy will be presenting, and Dallas will be presenting on how to plan your own mountain big buck hunt. And there's no two better guys than Billy and Dallas, because they're kind of the planners behind that big one. There was 17 of us went down and hunted state forest game lands, which was an experience like I have never had in my life. I loved it. I will be going back next year. I already paid for my rental for the house. So I'm in for next year again. And boy, I'll tell you, everything like in your mind, you imagine hunting the big woods of PA, and it's every bit as good as I had imagined to get out there and cover we did drives. We would have a drive. We'd have a game plan, and it was pushes, but we pushed large geographic areas, large to the tune of, I had to drive on, I think the last day, this one drive I did was 7 miles before I came out. So that's like pushing from here to Honeoye Falls, right?
Yeah, here to Mendon.
Here to Mendon.
Yeah.
7 miles.
Yep.
These guys don't horse around. So at any rate, not everybody has to hunt. I mean, you can get in, figure it out, set a stand, hunt by yourself. But what point is, it was a great opportunity to see some country and see that. So hope everybody joins us down in Wellsville. Hopefully Big Al and I will be down there. If Al's available and doesn't have to work the next day, because he does a little side gig just like I do. So, but if we're both, I'm definitely going. If Al's available, he'll join me hopefully. So I don't have to drive all the way down to Wellsville alone. But we'll go down there, and hopefully we'll see you there. So I think with that, we'll wrap up our conversation. We got, let me see, Al, that stuff is, we still got an hour or half hour? Hour probably on our
Probably an hour,
on the belly. And so we'll finish that up and call it a day. But Al, thanks for joining me on my first maiden voyage podcast here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it was
Very
great to
nice.
have you and have a nice day with you here. So, as Billy would say, till we meet again, keep feeding them. So,
Keep feeding.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Thank you, Al.
Thank you.